And he's teaching me the secrets of the pumpkin patch. Yeah. Welcome to the show, guys. Two lonely boys in a canoe. There's Trevor Ahlstrom right there. Right there he is.
The gorgeous of George.
The gorgeous of George's sisters.
And the most graveliest of shits.
And the graveliest shits around town, Chris Evans. What's happening, folks? It's Tuesday. Monday?
It's Tuesday.
Thursday? What day is it? What year of our king are we in?
It is the year of the Lord of 2022.
The king is dead. Long live the king.
I would say long live the queen, but that bitch is dead.
Oh, dead on the inside. Especially with all them royals running around with all that royal money. Royal.
Hanging out with the Epsteins.
You got your Meghan Markles and you got your Harrys and you got
Williams.
You got your Williams and your Williams. What's up, Trevor?
That was a very silly intro. I like it. I made up a random song and we joked about the Royals.
Yeah, Trevor was very worried about his playing for some reason today.
I went and played a show last night. Did really well, and
So you think if you do well, you don't want to backstep?
I want to keep going forward, man.
Of course, progression. But damn it, Trevor, part of progressing is fucking up a little bit.
Well,
Trevor's like, I'm perfect, goddammit.
No, the problem is I pick really complicated songs that I need a little more time than like 20 minutes to figure out stuff.
But you don't have to play very complicated stuff. You're choosing to play very complicated stuff.
I want to get better, Chris.
Well, great. Amazing. You got 60 seconds.
I did it. Right? Also, I had to change the
He's
tuning.
like, I'm going to play this Beethoven sonata in D minor. And
also,
hold on, I have to tune this guitar.
Also, I hadn't tuned the acoustic to the right setting. I didn't want to make you guys wait another 5 minutes.
I think Trevor doesn't even know how to tune his guitar. He's just sitting there and he's like, yeah, it's got to get tuned. And he's just hitting the buttons.
That's bullshit.
He's just hitting he's strumming the guitar. No. He's hitting the buttons. It's all a lie, folks.
No.
Tuning does nothing to guitars. They want to tell you it does, but it does nothing.
That's some harmonica player would say.
It's all the harmonica player would say.
Because all your shit's in keys.
You stick a reed in the motherfucker, you never gotta mess with it.
Harmonica players.
They be talking.
They do, but they're not as cool
Trevor's
as guitar
a real
players.
sassy, wicked apple right about now. He's into that red shit.
You see, his
Vermont sweater on.
Yeah, I'm about to cross my legs, bud.
Real fancy he is. Real fancy. What's happening, folks? We're just sitting here coming at you on a Tuesday. This past Sunday we were going to do our episode, but Chris was having a hissy
bad
fit.
Day.
He was having a hissy fit day. I was about to murder Trevor, so we decided against doing the podcast on Sunday.
Murder-suicide,
Yeah. I kill him, I kill myself, and then in the
or we
middle
just
of it,
or we both kill each other at the exact same moment.
This isn't Romeo and Juliet, all right? But as I die, it turns out that it was all an underground conspiracy, and we were getting real close to the truth.
Or I just do sand your eyes real quick.
Nope.
Right as I'm bleeding, and then
we were getting too close to the truth about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and all their friends, and that's how we got taken out. We got too close to the truth. The truth's got to remain under the rug.
And somehow the education system, Bulgaria, was somehow involved. Don't ask
Bulgaria?
me how.
Yeah, they've been on the payroll for a few years.
Shit gets wild down in the Balkans.
Shit gets wild down in TJ. Tijuana Balkans.
The Tijuana Balkans?
Yes, of course. Ever been to the Tijuana Balkans?
No, I haven't.
Gosh, it's hella fun.
Man, it's just something about
using that California slang. Hella fun.
Hella inappropriate, okay?
Hey, let me holler at you. Hello. Oh, man. Shout out black dude that's probably dead from Chappelle Show.
Random janitor that was on the set.
He's like, we send our skilled people
drop
out.
That shit.
Yeah, he's got that yellow cake. Yeah, it's been an interesting week or two. Chris called me up yesterday. Chris Kenneth.
Silver Squirrel.
The old Silver Squirrel.
How's
He
he
was
doing?
doing good. I think I finally pressured him into going to breakfast because he called me up and he's like, next Monday, we're going Dutch though. I'm paying for mine and you're paying for yours.
That's just such an old person thing to say. I've heard
Chris doesn't like having things paid for him, and he can't afford to pay for things. So I don't understand how that works.
An
but
older man that doesn't work and he has limited income. So
he doesn't have any income, man. His fucking money's all fucking from his family and shit. He doesn't have any income. So I had suggested to him that, I buy breakfast for us. And he's like, no, I'll buy the breakfast. And I'm like, first of all, I don't think you can buy your own breakfast, let alone mine as well. And it's like, you got a point there. But I think it'll be a great meal to sit down and hang out, talk some shit about Trevor.
Of course. You got
the
troglodytes are gonna.
The other loved but hated son of Chris Kenneth, Trevor Ahlstrom. We're long lost sons of Chris. Nobody knows.
I'm just jealous of my coolness. That's all it is.
No, not at all. I am jealous that you know how to fake tune a guitar, though.
I was changing tunes from one to another, Chris.
Whatever you got to tell yourself.
Guy.
What do we got on the agenda?
So we got local news. It's been warm, sunny, and smoky because the state goddamn refuses to let fall happen. It's like, I'm still summer. And supposedly
The world is a vampire.
It won't just cool down. The world's being hot-blooded, can't you see? Got a fever of 103.
98 degrees.
103. Do more than that. Anyways, we supposedly are going to get some rain next week, or end of this week, or early next week. Hopefully, we'll see. That's what the forecast said.
Forecast or whorecast?
Forecast.
It's just a whore reading the weather. Turns out it's going to be showers today, and she's got some dude coming on her. And she's got a little umbrella, like one of those drink umbrellas.
And then a big black bitch pushes aside and starts singing, "It's raining, man."
Why can't we just have a
It's
comedy?
raining, man.
Why can't we just have a comedy,
Weather
adult,
show?
sex-based weather show or news show?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. Here we go, folks. You heard it here first. We're gonna have a sexy news channel, real sexy.
So porno news channel.
Porn channel
Funny.
for news, because there's nothing that you want to see getting you horned up at 6 a.m. other than some weather girl getting came on and saying how it's gonna rain today.
Yep.
Looks like rain again.
There's you're gonna have random just like smooth jazz playing in the background.
Gonna have Michael Higgins. Yeah.
Daybreak.
Playing some Daybreak. Shout out Community. Thank you for introducing me to that song. If you haven't checked out Michael Higgins' Daybreak, it's the smoothest modern jazz fucking tune you can hear. It's from years ago. It's from like 99 or something, but it's
suck
awesome.
it, Kenny G.
Yeah, Kenny G sucks.
Not that great. I will do an album review of Michael Higgins next episode. But anyways, national news: President Biden just visited Portland, Oregon, and gave props to Democrat governor
Tina
candidate.
Kotek.
Yep. Don't let Scarlatos. He makes jokes about choking women to death during sex.
There was a funny
Seriously
picture I
wrong
saw today
Oregon.
of Joe Biden and Tina Kotek, and they were at the Voodoo Donuts, and they were like, "Hey, you guys like the donuts here, right? Northwest Donuts." All right, I got to get out of here. There's a bunch of Antifa folks
And homeless
Antifas.
people around. Got a bunch of Antifa and homeless folks milling around. Got to get out of Portland's keeping it too weird. Put a bird on it.
You know why Joe Biden got elected? I got a whole theory on this.
Okay,
All right.
what is it?
So it's a two-party system, right? And the Republicans just spent the last 4 years fucking it up.
With Trump, obviously.
Like beyond repair.
Trump was
basically,
like an angry child having a tantrum.
Yeah, they basically almost overthrew the government because he didn't get reelected. So
Yeah, the party's not is hurting right now.
it's hurting for a squirting.
And then maybe they should do some twerking. Twerk song.
Okay. What's going on right now?
Go on about how Biden got in, you think?
Why'd you give me these?
They were sticky and weird. Anyways, go on about.
Joe Biden was the only other option. There was no other option. It was either reelect the insane guy who just spent the last 4 years trying to fight everybody in the world, or Grandpa. You're in. So Grandpa's in.
Need stories about you and that tough guy at Popcorn.
Yeah, and now Grandpa's just doing what Grandpas do. Is they're like, I'm spending money out the yin yang, and you want to know why? Because I ain't gonna be here for the next 15 years.
And you guys
So-
work for all the, and you guys
No.
provide the money through your work. But guess what? I'm going shopping.
I just think in general, if you're over 65, you probably shouldn't be involved in politics at this point. You are on the downward spiral or the downward, of your years. You have maybe 20 some odd years left. And why the fuck are you making decisions that are going to impact people for 50, maybe 60 years after you're dead?
Because they can.
Because people suck, man.
That's why they can.
If you're old as fuck, get out of politics. What are you doing, Grandpa?
You're trying to.
He's 80. He's 80 years old, making decisions from 50 years ago. What the fuck?
He thinks that all that experience is going to be good to lead our nation.
No,
to the
dude,
right
all
way.
that gray matter up top is blocking his fucking cognitive function.
You
And
can't-
Donald Trump was just too high on his own fucking farts to
and
even
other shit. Who knows?
Yeah,
what?
dude, fucking, he was all up on a bunch of uppers. There's a bunch of coke and fucking amphetamines and shit. But yeah, no, man, we can't have these ridiculous people be in charge. We need to find moderately aged people that have possibly done some military or civil service. I want like a cop. I want like a decent cop
Guy's
or
done
a fucking
fire.
decent fireman or a
Guy's been a paramedic.
paramedic. I want a fucking guy who spent 10 years in the military and he learned some things in
I
the
want
military.
someone that's been a teacher.
I want a motherfucker that's done something other than suck dick in politics for the last 25
I want
years.
a garbage man or like a carpenter. Or
I want
something, a plumber.
somebody good that is human. I am so sick of these fake people. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, all these really high up politicians, they don't seem like real people anymore. They seem like fake motherfucking
I want someone
people.
that did carpet for 10 years. Like people who did regular.
I don't know if I want a guy that lays carpet, man. I want a guy that eats carpet.
Ooh, okay.
But no, we
You
need
got me of eating carpet.
we need
What do you call that? Carpet munching?
No, I call that carpet devouring. Because I don't munch on carpet, Trevor. By the time I'm done, she's got no hair left. They call me the lawnmower. No, but I am so tired of us believing, like Nancy Pelosi, she's a great fucking, example.
Oh, that
That
bitch.
age makes you more distinguished or it makes you more knowledgeable.
'Cause she was in
Age
politics
does
for 40
nothing
plus years.
but puts you in a bubble of a bunch of people around your age
They're also bubbles.
that are in bubbles of their own little fucking
and
world.
the people that are way under them, that are more regular people, they don't listen to them. at
No,
all.
because you're too young and you're too dumb to know what you're talking about. Motherfucker!
Even though you're more likely to be in the real world.
Well, you're
now.
more in tune with what's going on in society because you are still a part of society. Once you hit past 65,
And a certain income
your
bracket, too.
inclusion, your
They're also,
inclusion
they hit a
is so
certain
much
income
different.
bracket
Yeah.
too, that they're
Because
too old and rich to
you're-
know.
Well, not even old and rich, because there's old and poor people out there too. But if you've been playing the political game for as long as these people have been, Joe Biden got elected because we wanted Obama back. Well, you couldn't get Obama back because first of all, he didn't want to run again. Second of all, he'd had
And
two
he was in
terms.
politics long before.
Well, he had
Obama
2
did.
terms as a president.
Yeah.
You couldn't get him back if you wanted. So the next best thing the Democrats had was Obama Light, which is Joe Biden. I
Is
love
that
that
a racist
Obama
joke?
Light. Obama Light.
Now look at his skin.
No, it's Diet Obama, man. That's basically what we're getting. We're getting Diet
Diet
Dew.
Obama.
We're getting Diet Mountain Dew. And yeah, it's green like Dew, and it tastes okay. But the shit's not the same, man.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, it's cheaper. And if I want my fucking politicians to play basketball and do cool shit, we gotta hire another black guy. Where is the next black president at? I'm talking cool guy. I'm Method Man. Method Man, run for president,
Dude.
man. I would back you 120%.
I would vote for
Protect your neck.
Dude, what if we had just Wu-Tang Clan as the rest of the
Yes,
whole
why not
cabinet?
the whole cabinet? I'm talking the RZA,
The
Jizza,
Jizza,
old
Redman.
well, not old dirty bastard.
His son's really
We're
good.
digging up old dirty bastard,
son
and
is
we're
really
bringing
good.
his son in.
His son will be in there. Raekwon Chef will be in there. Yeah,
We're
Raekwon
bringing
Chef.
in RZA.
You God. We'll have all the guys.
Yeah, man. Fucking Red Man's gonna be Secretary of Pussy.
We'll have Instadeck in there. We'll have all of it. We'll have all of
Inspector
Wu-Tang Clan.
Deck.
We'll have Mardonna. We'll have all of them. The giant 15 plus members of that group.
I just think that, I don't know, man. Like, a normal person over a politician or an artist over a politician might just be the change we need. It's just got to be the right person. So let's we got 2 years, people, till the next big election. Let's find some really cool candidates for the Democratic Party. And I'm not talking cool like they've serviced the community for 20 years. I'm talking they got $1 million in the bank account and they still give a fuck about the modern dude.
And they don't touch kids.
And they protect the neck. Yeah.
And they're all about local gardens. Ooh.
Coming to your hood like a neighborhood Spider-Man.
They might teach you the secrets of the pumpkin patch, Chris.
There you go. Yep. So that's my whole political.
So world news. That was all national news. So world news, as Chris just informed me, legal immigration from the Caribbean islands to the U.S. is up 450% in the last year.
Oh yeah,
That
man!
is
You can't
ridiculous.
stop them from coming to America, and you want to know why? Because the islands in the Caribbean are constantly hit by hurricanes
Yep.
and possibly ran into the ground by democracies and dictators.
Yep.
Cuba's still ran
And
by
drug trade too. as
Well,
well.
Cuba's still ran by dictatorship. Haiti is a democracy, so is the Dominican Republic. But that's the craziest part to me. So Haiti is on one half of the island
Dominican
that the
Republic's not.
Dominican Republic is on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the Dominican Republic is nowhere near as shitty as
It's
Haiti.
still shitty, but
It's
not-
it's like on a scale of 1 to 10, Dominican Republic is like a 7 or 8 on the shit scale. But Haiti's like a 10 or 11. So it's kind of hard to like understand that.
Well, you
it's
have
like
different- you have
North
different-
America versus South America. Yeah,
Or
it's both
maybe
Americas.
like North and South Korea kind of.
Yeah, not really, but you know, it's similar. You know, because North and South Korea are completely different worlds.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty interesting dynamic right across. Same island, just different border.
But people hate living on the islands, man. There's not a lot to do once you get past all the touristy shit. And then
You can only play ukulele for so long before
you
you,
can
lose
only
your mind.
use that conch shell to call for food forever, yeah.
You eat so many coconuts, you just lose your mind.
All I'm saying is if you've ever lived on an island and you're
I
an
have.
indigenous person,
I have not, but all right.
what happens is white people come along. They take all your shit.
Yep.
They start calling it their own.
Unless
and then
you're
they
Taiwan.
fucking whitewash your whole fucking family. That's what we do. Ask Trevor's ancestors.
They were Vikings.
Yeah.
It's true. But China's doing that to Taiwan and other islands around there. Also.
Everywhere around the world it happens.
Exactly.
Islands are very cool. But
They're good for tourism, but
the problem with islands is that the people that live on them usually end up getting nothing.
well, they have
They don't
limited
get dick.
Well, you get limited resources. You're on islands right there.
Your best fucking bet is fishing usually.
Fishing and tourism nowadays.
Yup.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to go to an island like Cuba if it's constantly fucking ran over with political problems, and the possibility of you going there means you might not leave because you become a political
Yeah.
prisoner. And nobody wants to go to Haiti because the same reasons, man. Haiti is one of the
Haiti's-
fucking
yeah.
harshest countries right now, island-wise, to visit. You know, it's not like I'd go recommend a person to go to Africa and go see the Congo right now. It's just there's certain parts of the world that are shit
Yeah,
because we've fucking exploited the piss out of them. Jamaica's a dope island, but because it's been so exploited, it's
Yeah.
got a lot of fucking rich history, but now it's just a bunch of people on an island that, like, I bet if most of them had the opportunity, they get the fuck off.
And also, with climate change, they're having to deal with more hurricanes and more extreme weather too. And they don't have the resources to necessarily deal with the weather getting crazier.
Bro,
And
I
crazier.
grew up in the area that is like constantly dealing with hurricanes.
I'm just saying it's getting worse and worse, though.
It is,
Climate
and as
change.
time goes on, the world isn't going to become nicer to us.
No.
We're a cancer on the world's butt.
I know.
But it drives me crazy that I grew up where there's a ton of hurricanes. I've lived through a few of them. I fucking got to see them just kill a ton of people. It never made sense to me to live in the Caribbean on an island where there's constantly hurricanes. It just doesn't make much sense. You literally have to rebuild your home every 2 to 3 years. So you have a home. You pay into that house. That house gets knocked the fuck down. Even
The
with
whole neighborhood
insurance,
gets
you
trashed.
never really get back what you've lost. So every 2 to 3 years, you do this giant shift of you don't have a home anymore. You don't have a lot of money. Now you got to move to a new place. Now you got to... And all to stay with your slightly close family. Fuck that. Move to Detroit. Let's start Detroit back up. I'm talking. We're
Shit.
taking all the people from the
Rebuild-
islands
we're
and we're
rebuilding
rebuilding
Detroit?
Detroit as the new tourist attraction. We're gonna make
gonna
it the
rebuild
new
it?
New York.
Are you
We're
going to
make-
say that we built this city on rock and roll?
We built this shitty.
Milk these titties on cock and balls? I like the Detroit joke.
Yeah, Detroit.
So, anyways, next on the list, do you want real quick? Can we go over the crazy story of the rent situation on Columbus Day due to the robbery?
I am the Rat King. You are the Rat Queen.
So the place we pay at usually pay with a check, never an issue.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but it didn't go through. And a week later, I got an email from Chris. Well, Chris got an email and he informed me.
From the people that own the property.
And apparently over a week later, they like, oh yeah, we never got rent. It's like, I put it in, and I paid it for last year. Never been a problem.
check. Trevor always pays with a check.
It's never been an issue before.
It hasn't been up until that point. So what ended up happening, Trevor?
So I called the office, and they're like, "Oh, well, it didn't go through. You know, you can go to your bank with the money order." And then the hot secretary at work informed me, like, "Hey, Trevor, I know you're trying to deal with your rent situation, but all the banks are closed because it's Columbus Day." And I like almost had a mental breakdown at work. I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I was like, all right. So I had to make sure that the Safeway's open for money order. Went, did that. But it was just annoying, extra walking, extra planning. And then after I did all that, when I went to Von Klein, they hadn't told me over the phone what exactly happened. And then they said, well, there happened to be a robbery. Apparently, the day before, the place had been broken into
It's
with
like
the mail
Stink
slot.
Meaner showed up. It's like, these niggas don't need these rent monies. Ha 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 ha. It just steals all the money.
And then
out the
I
goddamn-
immediately call Uncle Ruckus to do the exorcism.
He's like, damn these niggas. They came along and they stole all the white man's money again. It doesn't surprise me. These jungle bunnies stole all. It's like, oh god.
These chimps be
Shout
jumping around.
out, shout out Boondocks, one of the most amazing shows in the world.
let me
and
bring out the
I am
things.
rewatching Boondocks as we speak.
That show
and
is
I love
awesome.
all the characters.
Oh, they're all
I
great.
love all the characters.
So, anyways, unfortunately, Uncle Ruckus wasn't there to help me out. But I wish. But
Check this out. What I got at the fucking store today.
let me finish the story,
Oh, I'm sorry.
motherfucker. Nice.
Yeah.
Cinnamon sugar. All right. My stone brain will probably try that out later. I'll probably be high as hell, folks. Try that. Anyways, one stoner's trying to distract another stoner. Anyways, back to the story.
Distract the stoner. Cinnamon sugar.
Oh, bro. I will sniff that shit like
Hey man,
cocaine.
you ever try a graham cracker, bro?
Dude, what if we put that on the saltines? I'm just saying. Anyways, folks, we're having a stoner moment. So I was like, crackers and cinnamon sugar? Yes! Anyways, suck it, Paula Dean. But anyways, back to her story. So I went there. Apparently, the place had been broken into, and as they were talking about, there was a repairman, and he was building a reinforced wooden frame around where the mail that goes for the mail slot, because it had been pried open of a pry bar.
And there was an old 1920s cop sitting there with a clipboard.
Ah, see?
and a
What
pencil.
happened? What happened here? See?
All right, now.
I hear Muggsy and
You say you weren't here yesterday, but you said you were here the day before. Now, did anything look amiss? You know.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know Bugsy was walking around, smoking them jazz cigarettes and listening to that colored folk music. Oh, shit!
The dabbly doos.
The dabbly doos and the dabbly notes. But anyways, so I found that information out. I was like, oh, it makes sense that they did
I
it.
love that they didn't quite tell you the whole story.
They didn't tell me till I got there. Until I was like, what happened? They're
I
like,
bet they weren't allowed to tell people either.
yeah, and they literally, this older lady, I was being helped by this hot Mexican chick with tattoos with some nice tits and some pierced and a pierced face.
Trevor, did you talk to her?
I did. I gave her my phone number.
Hell yeah.
Bitch never called me though.
Oh, Trevor, you know how it goes. You know how many phone numbers that girl gets a day? 300.
Dude, that chick's hot. Her name's Messy. But yeah, hot Mexican chick.
Bet
Anyways.
she ain't messy. Oh.
I'd like to make her messy. Anyways. So yeah, this middle-aged chick pretty much felt bad. I could tell this middle-aged chick heard my situation, overheard it, she felt bad, told me what happened. And then we were like, okay, well, they must have came and stolen because whoever stole it was smart enough to know that all the banks would be closed because of Columbus Day. So it fucked a lot of people had to go and cancel their checks. And yeah, it worked out, but yeah, fuck you whoever robbed that place, and fuck you Columbus for having banks closed.
Trevor, are you really mad at Columbus, or are you mad at the fact that you haven't figured out how to pay online yet?
Both. They both.
Alright, well, we're teaching Trevor here shortly
You gonna
how
teach?
to pay checks online, which is not with checks at all.
You're gonna teach me how to Dougie?
I'm going to teach you the secrets of the pumpkin patch.
Fuck
young
yeah.
man.
Yes. We might have to name the episode that Secrets of the Pumpkin Patch.
Definitely. Secrets of the Pumpkin Patch is a great one. Lesbian Seagull, Secrets of a Pumpkin
No, I'll be another one. Lesbian Seagull's another one. I should get its own.
We should have 13 of the best jokes ever written just as one title for the episode.
That would be way too much.
I know, but it would be amazing.
You don't like me doing way too long descriptions. I'm not gonna do 13 jokes typed out.
Oh, come on, Trevor. You like your titles, though.
Not that much. That's ridiculous.
Trevor always says he loves his titles. He always is excited to pick the name.
Then you type it up, motherfucker. You type up fucking 500 letters.
He's teaching me the secrets of the pumpkin patch.
And yes, I'm mad though. Alright, Secrets of the Pumpkin Patch. You heard it here first, folks.
You want to tell them what that's from?
Alright, so Secrets of the Pumpkin Patch. Chris, I had actually forgotten about that line. It was from Tenacious D, Pick a Destiny, which I had seen. It came up like 2008. 2007, actually. It came out 2007 in the summertime when I started playing guitar. So literally the July of 2007, so the month and year I started playing guitar, that song came out. And for all like young guitarists like me, it was a great movie. You're like, oh shit, hell yeah. Rock and roll, all that shit. It was exciting.
Rock and roll,
Like-
all that shit. I love how you lose your steam after the rock and roll. You're like, rock
and roll,
like all that shit.
like Spinal Tap, rock and roll. Then I'm like, we're still walking around.
I need to take that big
Yeah.
whoop.
Random old black maintenance guys run
What are
into
you
again.
doing here again?
Ah, shit. Told me to take a left, man. That's life. Life is like you wander around a stage looking to go on the stage, but you just wander around the back.
I gotta
That's
think
like
about
life.
that.
I feel like
I gotta
that's
think about that
that's
for
now
a
joke.
second. Like, there's got to be some amount of groups that have had that happen to them, where they're at a small weird venue and they're having to walk to the stage through some weird entrance. And you're trying to get hyped up to go on stage.
Especially if it's an older theater.
Yeah, of course. There's all these weird back areas.
Yeah, because old theaters have
and then
weird.
You're trying to find the stage, and as you're all hyped up
Just
and
keep
you're finding the
wandering
stage,
around.
you've gotten lost. You're just over by the men's
But you
room.
have a guy in the band that's trying to, keep everyone pumped because he's supposed to come out of energy like rock and roll. So it's definitely a good analogy of life. But anyways, Pumpkin Patch. Pumpkin Patch is a reference. Don't be
Great analogy to life.
jealous of my coolness as usual.
Look at the face in my tea. That's an analogy to life.
He looks like he got hit over the head with a club. Anyways.
Looks like he doesn't know the secrets of the pumpkin patch.
So that came from Tenacious D when Jack Black's character just recently met Kyle.
Simulator.
Yeah, he met Kyle Gass and they're getting to know each other and he's like, well, we should start a band. He's like, well, Kyle Gass said, well, as part we got to set up the gig, like you're playing a gig simulator. and all these paper on paper plates.
Paper plate cutouts.
The paper plate cutouts. They had drawn faces, and then like taped them to these folding chairs to simulate a crowd. And then the pizza guy, who gave him half of the pizza, got to hang out and watch. And as they're watching, he comes out. Jack Black's here came out with the acoustic guitar and the football helmet.
Project. Hey, Kyle, let's get our
Football helmet on, has his acoustic guitar. He's all pumped. Comes out, starts screaming. Can you teach me the Sears Pumpkin Patch? And then power slides, eats shit, ends up breaking the guitar, and he just has the most.
Speeding through the best part. All right, here's the 2.0.
All right, Jack
version.
Black, you tell me.
All right, so Jack Black is nervous to go out on stage, even though he's in an apartment with a bunch of fake cutouts. Kyle Gass is
And the
over in the
pizza
corner with a tape recorder, and he's playing negative sounds from the crowd.
Boo!
Yeah,
You suck.
like, get off the stage, dickhead.
Your
You know?
mom is not a very good way.
Yeah, it's just recorded sounds, which is hilarious.
Your cheese is weird.
And he starts to sing, and he's like, he's getting nervous and self-conscious. And out of nowhere, a beer bottle drops from the ceiling and crashes onto his head. And he's just like, And he's like, you gotta be ready for anything on stage.
It reminds me, it's like the Blues Brothers scene where the Blues Brothers are at the country bar and they have the chicken wire fence. Like, what's that for? To keep you safe from the crowd. And all these rednecks are throwing beer bottles at the chicken wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what Kyle had did is rigged a bunch of bottles to be, like, broken on him from the ceiling. He just, like, taped them to the ceiling with a rope. But as he's getting nervous, he's trying to get a song going. And he remembers that Kyle had gotten a rent check from his mother, but he didn't know it was from his mom at the time. And in the memo line, it goes, I love you, pumpkin. You know? And he's like, oh, that was the name of a song I did. They're paying me royalties on. And so he uses that as like, this guy's a paid musician, you know? And he thinks for some reason the pumpkin patch is like, I don't know. It goes to his I love you pumpkin memo check.
So
because
that's
he's
where
teaching me the secrets of the pumpkin patch.
Kyle Gass.
And then he drops 2 more bottles on his head. And he just starts to fade out into the crowd. And he gets all hazy and he just drops. He's not good enough for the Kyle Gass project.
Nope.
He's like, man, don't worry. Nobody makes it through the simulator on their first go. He's like, not even you? He's like, not even this guy.
Gets him a new guitar.
Yeah, well, he figures out that he's all full of shit.
But he is a good
He
guitarist.
rips his hair off.
No.
Ah!
But Kyle Gass is an amazing guitarist, which is true.
He is pretty good.
He's just not successful at the time. But in real life, him and Jack Black are quite successful. So anyways, yeah, let me do an album review.
Let's do it.
So mine is Ripped to Shreds. That's a,
Is it a punk metal rock type
no,
deal?
it's a new wave of old school death metal Asian band that has relocated to California, and they're an up and coming band. And they have this album called Jubian, Jubin, IAN. And it's a 36
Juby in the house.
It's a 36-minute album, and it's just old school sounding death metal with definitely elements of like brutal death metal and some grindcore, and there's some melodic parts, there's some slow, heavy, doomy parts. And
Trevor's,
the song I recommend is I'm kidding. The song I recommend is "Reek of Burning Freedom." And it's
Trevor's
like
a
4-minute
goddamn
song.
metal barista. He's like, we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of punk in there, right? With a splash of metal. And a good heaping helping of fucking death. And it's this
A little bit of black in there too. Gotta
when you
make
get
it black,
when you get it
blacken
all
a little
mixed
bit.
together, you got a cappuccino that's about to punch you in the nuts.
And on the side, some polka cookies.
Polka cookie.
Polka cookies.
I love that at the end. He's got a little spit in the mouth. Polka cookie. Oh man. Here.
Let's do the bomb. Oh shit.
I had one ready, but I don't want to smoke.
So
right
yeah,
now.
I recommend folks listen to Ripped to Shreds up and coming. They're awesome.
Nice.
Awesome band. And if you just don't want to think about feelings, you don't want to understand lyrics and just smash and destroy, it's great. I did it from when I was chiseling the table. I should talk about the table
Seek
too.
and destroy.
But it's when I was chiseling a wooden table Sunday, and then today when I was just grinding away steel, it was good and just listened to it and just grind away.
Folks, if I could tell you, on a scale of 1 to 10, Trevor's done like a 9 on this table already. He's about to make it a 10. I've done a lot of woodworking over the years. Really nice job, Trevor. But the thing we're doing is we're fucking it up because we haven't protected the coat yet. We're setting water and shit on it. We gotta wait for
You're setting water.
You're setting water.
Anyways, so quick background. That was another thing I want to talk about was the woodworking. It's actually on the list of woodworking. So we have the table that we've been setting the laptop and the microphone that you folks all hear the podcast going. The table that it all
drugs.
Yes. This table literally holds this podcast together. It's holding it up. It's literally holding up this podcast, literally. And we had a friend, neighbor, that gave us this very old, probably 40-year-old table because we had just moved in, didn't have any furniture yet. And there's a thin veneer that was curling, and every time we would move, like we'd move the microphone or the laptop, it would like catch and it'd snap on things.
So what ended up happening originally, the reason why we had to strip it, well, Trevor had to strip it. I didn't do anything. He's done it all. The cat knocked over the bong. And when the cat knocked over the bong, it was the middle of the night, so the water had just gone over everything, including the laptop a little bit. So I came out to get food as stoners do late night, and I seen the bong knocked over and the water all over the thing. Well, I kind of picked up the laptop and I patted the water off the table. I didn't take it and fucking dry the table. But when we came back in the morning, the top layer had begun to warp from the moisture. And we were just like, we got to do something about this table. So Trevor took it upon himself to sand the table down, take the top layer off, put some extra screws in the legs. He put some love into it, folks. It looks great. And then I went out today and bought some top coat and some sandpaper.
Some honey teak.
Yeah. Honey tiki.
Honey teak. So we're gonna get the next step.
We'll put pictures up of it on the podcast.
I took some pictures when I started. So
we're gonna have to.
So we chiseled, we sanded, we reattached the legs because the tabletop was not attached at all. So took a bunch of 4-inch screws and screwed and drilled it in there. What's up, ladies? Bigger than 4 inches. Bigger than 4 inches.
I'm here.
Anyways,
I'm here, but I'm not here. But I catch the good jokes, man. I catch those good jokes.
Throwing it in there.
He's like, so you can.
Yeah.
Silent but deadly.
Hey, my character is a pirate ninja, and he does do poison shurikens. And there's this guy that invaded our ship. I tried to offer him a piece of rum as like a peace offering, and he splashed it away. So I rolled a 20 and just shurikened him, and then just poisoned him. Like, see what happens when you refuse my hospitality? And the whole crew, everyone's like, oh shit.
Hey, bud.
Anyways.
How was your last joke? It's gonna be your last. You know?
Thank you, so funny. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, the next step is hopefully this wood filler can properly rehydrate and we have enough of it. We're gonna do wood filler.
That was what I was worried about too, but if you need more, I'll get another can.
Probably just a big cheap one. The color doesn't matter because we're gonna sand it and color it. It's like the biggest, cheapest tub of wood putty, pretty much. Wood putty.
You want more putty? You want putty now?
Wood filler is wood putty. It's basic.
Trevor needs more putty. We're gonna get him some putties.
This.
Putty's your buddy. Buddy's your putty. Wood putty.
Wood putty. Sounds sexual. So
I mean,
wood putty.
You can put a lot of things in a table to fill it. Wood putty does work good.
Yeah. I've used it for a lot of carpentry jobs. It works
I've
quite well.
seen people do some really cool shit with glue and what is it? Goddamn, I'm drawing a blank.
Bondo works, which is a type of putty.
Bondo works. I've seen people use sawdust.
Yes.
Compression and glue. And I thought that was the most ingenious thing. Because you always run into the problem of having a ton of sawdust usually when you're doing woodworking. And you have usually wood glue. And when you have cracks and seams and
if you're
chips,
able to compress, the trick is if you can compress the wood dust and then you can put it on. I've seen it too.
And it's a really cool way to just easily repair small dings and dents in wood. I thought it was really interesting.
I heard a quote once where a good carpenter makes mistakes, but a great carpenter can hide them.
Exactly. I love that. My dad had a really interesting one I thought of while I was at the Lowe's today. He when I was riding with him one time in his car, He was listening to talk radio because he likes talk radio. And
As older men do.
Older men do.
My dad too, yeah.
And he was listening to a contracting show, and they were
Some
talking.
Nice.
They were talking about spackle for the ceiling and
Oh, okay.
like popcorn and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So my dad had a really good one. He was like, "Oh, I got this great idea. I did it in the house before." And he used to roll on the popcorn ceiling, but instead of buying the actual popcorn ceiling thing, he'd put oats in the popcorn sealant. It's basically like fucking primer. You know, that's
That
basically
makes
what
sense.
it is. But when you put the oats with the primer sealant, it creates the same effect that the popcorn sealing does, and it's a little cheaper. It's a little bit more effective, and especially if you have to do a wide project.
Yeah.
But popcorn ceilings have gone out of style. But he tried to call into that radio show like an hour, and I remember him getting so frustrated because he was like, "I got a great idea."
That is a good idea.
It's a perfect idea. It's a very cost-effective way to do a ceiling.
Shout out to your dad and old
Dave
men
Evans.
and old men that
Old
have
men technology.
that have clever ways to do. Shout out
See,
woodworking and trades.
my dad's
yeah.
65, man. Just the cusp of us still being able to respect his opinion. Older than that, man, I don't know.
Just tell your dad, hey, next year
You're not running for president.
Next year you're too old for politics, old man.
You're too old to run for politics.
They're like, oh, we got a funny guy.
My dad's retiring. He's going to run for president. I'd vote for him. My dad would make a funny president, man. He'd be kick-ass. He'd tell everybody to stop bitching. Everybody stop bitching. I'm doing my best. And you'd be like, all right.
I also feel like he would have a lot more just general like everyday like working knowledge of how to
My
fix
dad,
things.
honestly, if he was the president, I guarantee he'd be like, all right, first of all, everybody's going to work. I don't care. He's like, mental health problems, doesn't matter. Everybody pick up a tool. And I don't know.
Give him a
maybe that's
broom,
what-
something.
That's what it takes to make a country better, man. Is everybody puts in a little bit of work.
Well, like if you think about like it's interesting, kind of like World War I and World War II. Everybody pitched in. They rationed like
Because
kids
if-
were rationing.
if it
Everyone pitched
If
in.
it went the wrong way, they wouldn't have much country to bitch about.
Yeah.
But now that our country's so established and we think we're too big of a kid to knock off his bike, you know.
We're the kid on the top of the hill that hasn't
Yeah.
been knocked down in a long time.
Exactly. So he thinks he's not going to get sideswiped.
Yeah.
But when you're not looking, Iran's coming up sneakily from behind. You know.
India just fucking just hits you with a ton of curry real quick.
That's a great topic to bring up our global news as well. You want to talk about India and Russia?
I haven't looked that much. I think Chris has looked to a little bit more, but apparently India and Russia have recently openly come out of alliance, and that's interesting because India has over 1 billion people. It's right after China. It's the second most populated country in the world, and
Something like 30 billion people.
it has like 1.3 billion people. A lot
I'm
of
telling
people.
you, Trevor, there's at least 9 to 10 billion people on this
Chris likes to argue with population to me, and he's always wrong about
I'm
it.
100% wrong, but I don't care because there's 20 billion people on this planet, folks.
Dude, man, I feel like Chris would be the worst like U.S. Census guy if he had to go around and like
How many people in your house? 2,000? That sounds about right. I just keep
Yeah.
upping the numbers. You see all these people that need help? We got over 1 jillion
So
people,
many
over
people.
there.
Wait.
2 houses, 200,000 people.
You're telling me there are 4 million children that attend this one elementary school, Chris? Well, you know, it's a busy area. It's a busy area. You're telling me 75 million people attend go to this one library. Well, you know, things happen.
The internet's been down for a while.
You know, a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Life's funny that way, I suppose.
That's the way I learned the secrets of the pumpkin patch. Boom. Yeah. Do you want to do a movie review or a show? I was actually, if you didn't have anything, I was going to talk about Bonfire.
Yeah, let's talk about the bonfire. I can do that.
So you sent me. We haven't talked about the episode, but we've talked about Flat Earth. But I saw the episode Behind the Curve. I actually saw the documentary. You had sent me the original documentary, and I had seen it. But this is where Big J Okerson and Dan Soder are both professional comedians on the Bonfire show.
The Sirius XM podcast,
Yeah.
the bonfire. Shout out Lou, Jacob, Christine, Lou, Jay, and Dan. You guys are the shit.
Christine's a dancer. Anyways,
Christine's a real dancer.
Chris Show introduced me to Bonfire and also the Legion of Skanks, what Big J's also part of. But it's pretty cool.
It's one of the reasons that I think we came up with this podcast is like I really love comedy.
I also like comedy.
I feel like stand-up's kind of going away though in the way of the older generation. Like stand-up is still a thing, but stand-up isn't good anymore. Unfortunately, there's too many comedians that think they're funny that just aren't funny.
You also have the issue that the political climate is so polarized.
It's so weird, and
It's
people
so
just are
polarized
so afraid of
Yeah.
making the wrong step, and that isn't great for comedy because comedy's
not supposed to have any boundaries.
It's an art form. It's an
Yeah.
art form just like anything, and you shouldn't be able to tell an artist, "Hey, your lines are here."
Yeah.
You know.
It's just like with music, whether it was especially rap and rock were the two edgiest genres that definitely had a lot of curse words and implied a lot of subjects that conservative Christian families were terrified of. So they didn't want people talking about just, shooting a bunch of people or worshiping the devil or motorboating by big old titties while you're drinking Hennessy or, burning churches, casual things like that.
I like titty burning.
Yeah. Burn them titties and motorboat them churches, I guess.
You get them titties burned. You get them titties hurt. You get them titties hurt.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. So, it's the movie review, The Bonfire. We also got Chris's Cannabis Corner when he returns.
Yeah.
So, Chris has had a pretty exciting week with the herbs. We did some trimming the last few days. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, weed, ganja, cannabis. It's for all of us. Today was actually a nice day. I had a 5-gallon pot with a bunch of seed starts in it. This is like 7 plants in one pot. But it was because my last run of seeds didn't do so hot. A lot of them, they all germinated, but some of them didn't grow in the soil as well as I wanted to. So I restarted my seeds. I did more. The second run went way better. But the problem with having all those seeds in one pot is eventually you have to separate them. So what I did today was took some time. I went to the grocery store. I picked up some more things that I needed.
So you got a pH testing
I
kit?
got a parts per million and pH testing pen.
Nice.
They're
I
a little
definitely-
expensive, but they are definitely worth the investment.
I definitely like to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
I'll show you after the
Yeah.
show. But they come in handy when you are checking the parts per million of your water and your runoff, because when you feed into soil with other nutrients, organic or non-organic, there is runoff from your plants, and it's really important to keep a log pretty much of how acidic or alkaline your water is
Yeah.
becoming due to what your plants need. Sometimes your plants need a little bit less feed, sometimes they need more, sometimes the pH is thrown off by something,
Shout out
an
soil
outside
science.
factor. Yeah.
I've actually studied for forestry, and it's very interesting.
The contents of what makes a good soil is, hundreds of thousands of things. So
Yeah.
trying to recreate that with, human technology, we're pretty close to making some amazing
But
soil.
what's
But
crazy is that different soils work for different plants in different climates.
Exactly.
So what type of soil is going to work in one place at a time of year won't work
technically
Yeah.
work in another. And I just find it very interesting that no matter how great humans have gotten at recreating outdoor quality, climates, temperatures, environments, something about the earth, it has so much natural, just hurdles and things that the soil and the planet have had to go through that you just can't account for, man. And that
Yeah.
makes a really interesting soil content.
So many things go into the earth all the
Exactly,
time. that-
constantly.
The soil. I don't care what anyone says. I do think the soil is a living thing.
Oh, 100%. That's what the soil is basically the epidermis of the earth.
Because what's interesting is you have, if you go way back, mushrooms literally grew on rocks, and over time, mushrooms turned the top layers of rocks eventually into soil.
Some of the strongest mushrooms in the world grow off of the coasts,
And they grow on rocks.
They grow on hard rocks.
When I
and
was in
very,
Humboldt,
very hard,
very
climates.
hard rocky areas, I would find mushrooms growing on rock cliffs with
Yep.
fucking the wind right off the ocean right
Yep,
there.
just whipping.
And areas you go a little bit further inland, and those mushrooms are all of a sudden growing areas that are a little more protected, and that's turned into soil.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's similar to how bonsais grow in like
Yeah.
Japan. They grow on like
Monterey. I've seen
cliff-
Monterey
They
cypresses.
grow on high altitudes and stuff. Yeah.
They have the American versions, the Monterey cypress, which is the type of tree used for bonsais. And when I lived in Big Sur along Monterey, you would also see these trees that would be wind sculpted. Or if you're way up in the mountains, I know Chris is from a real flat state, so he might not know about this, but way up in the mountains, like 10,000 feet up above the tree line, you'd see like these pine trees that would get wind sculpted because it's so high up and so much wind that they would get shaped usually, and it usually come from the east because you would have a lot of like these strong dry winds coming from the east, and you would literally just shape these trees so you could see where the wind came from. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. But what ended up happening with the plants was they basically were put into a more homely sized container. I have taken a couple of them, one Hindu Kush and one White Widow, Jamaican White Widow, and I'm keeping them for mother plants. So those are going to run while my other plants are running in the big tent. But for this next run, I think we're going to have about 15 plants. And we're going to have 2 mothers for our next run. So our next run is just going to be as badass, just as many plants. I'm going to start experimenting with just how many I can push in that little 4x4 tent and see how much weed we can grow in 3 months' time, 2 months' time. I'm really excited though, and it is a labor of love. Out of all the things I had to do today, the transplanting and the cleaning and all that stuff, it was the last thing I did before I took a nap this afternoon, but it was the most enjoyable thing. Like, I went to the hardware store, which is kind of fun sometimes. I went to the grocery store, which is okay. You know, I went to the grocery store, which is fine. You know, you got to have food. But it wasn't until I got home and I got to play with my plants and I got to sit down and do, you know, my own thing that I really was enjoying, you know, being home and doing something.
I started to make up a song.
Of course. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I'm thinking about putting this wood putty in the fridge.
Okay.
The cool air.
Uh-huh.
Cool air will help to rehydrate it.
It's a good idea.
And just a little bit of moisture.
Yeah, folks.
You know what also worked great for this? Just Play-Doh. Regular Play-Doh.
I mean, it's probably going to take the rest of that jar.
No, and that's what I mean. We'll pick up some more. But I didn't, yeah. We're playing with our putty, folks. I'm putting my finger in it.
I do really like hardware stores because I grew up like a lot. My dad's side of the family are all carpenters, and I definitely that's the trade that I do the best at, and I really like. I definitely had a lot of memories as a kid where Chris's family is a lot of mechanics. My family's a lot of carpenters, so I definitely had a lot of memories going to hardware stores and just hanging out.
My family does a lot of carpentry too.
They do, which is good.
I think if I had to pick one that my family probably does better,
You say mechanics?
it's a tough one. Because I think that the mechanical knowledge is based out of carpentry. You know?
I mean,
it all starts with wood, I think.
Well, like before we had cars, I mean, I'm sure like if you go far enough back, your family, they were building things without a wood. So yeah, makes sense. Before human civilization was building structures out of metal, they were building things out of wood.
I think that's how you get back to the old natural, man. There's something about watching somebody build a boat out of just wood.
That's something that you and I still want to do is build a boat.
Hell yeah.
I honestly want to build a canoe. Can you imagine for the podcast,
we have our own canoe.
I'd like to wood burn the middle out, which is how they do it traditionally, and then they'll take a lot of chisels, and they'll take small hatchets, and they'll take other wood tools, and they'll carve it out.
Carve it out.
I would love to do that.
We should definitely
It'll
look
be a labor of
into,
love, 100%.
We should definitely look into how much it would take to buy maybe like a 12 to
Or
13
the truck,
foot
if we just
section of fucking.
Traditionally, you just take a chunk of a tree.
Yeah, but you
Literally.
can't just buy trees anymore.
Well, we don't own property, so.
Well, you can ask to cut down a tree on somebody's property.
Or if someone has a log that's recently fallen, like, hey, we can just get rid of it for you.
Yeah, but that's what I think we should do is look into buying maybe like a 12 by 6 section of a fucking tree.
Yeah, like, we don't really have a place to work on a section of a tree. Like, this little hallway in the apartment is not meant for us working on a section of a tree.
That's the problem when you have people that are capable of doing projects like this. You also have to have the workspace. You know,
Like,
you can't just do a giant woodworking project.
because Chris
next
and
to
I
somebody's
both
fucking
guys
apartment.
that do trades, and we're both very handy, but we don't have the facilities or the place to do it.
It's
Like when I was doing the table,
I'm growing fucking plants in a goddamn bedroom.
Yeah.
Trevor's doing woodworking in a hallway. of
a
an
tiny
apartment
hallway,
complex.
yeah, in the corner, and I had
Yeah.
all these people. And my buddy Jonah, when I asked him, like, "Did you hear the random drilling and chiseling noise?" He's like, "Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I heard it."
The whole place.
The
right?
whole place heard me for 6 hours chiseling Saturday, and then Sunday 4 hours of me chiseling, sanding, and screwing in all these things. And when I made the cutting board,
Yeah.
the whole place heard that. When I was working on the guitar stand, like all these random things. Doing the weekends during the daytime, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Now, this has been a good episode, man. And I'm sorry, folks, that we couldn't get it to you this Sunday. But we work on our lives just as much as we work on these podcasts. And we try to get at you guys at least a couple times a week. Let you know how we're doing. Let you know how the world is. And try to fill you in on the life and the happiness of what we go through. But
Can I tell a real quick funny story, and then
you
I'll
can
play a
tell
song?
whatever you want,
We
brother.
got a couple minutes.
Do it.
So this is a story I've been meaning to tell for a while. It's the stoned Yankee Candle story. So it's a good one. Yeah, dude, it's a funny, true story. So when I was a teenager, when I was a young punk rocker trying to get out of Sacramento during the recession, we would do and back when like weed was definitely still, it was medically acceptable, but that was it. Like if you were caught with weed, you were still getting a ticket or doing jail time in California in the early 2000s. And I was involved with, sorry family, my family has no idea, but I definitely was involved in some shady operations.
Trevor sold a few nuclear bombs to Russia.
And India. And India. That's how I roll, bud.
Hey, Trevor's all about those international arms races.
Rail guns, bitches. Rail guns.
This
Let's go.
This motherfucker's
Electromagnetic.
the dog. He's the dog of war.
Anyways, so back to those times, before everyone was looking at their cell phones all the time. Don't look at them partially. And MySpace.
Just looking down at your phone. What?
Yeah, MySpace was the only social media at the time, really. But we would get really stoned, my friends and I, and we would like go to we would from like the northern metro area of Sacramento. We would like go out into the hills a little bit, and then there was this town. We would go from like the North Highlands, Citrus Heights areas, the northern part of Sacramento, to go up into like Roseville, and there was a mall, the Roseville Galleria Mall. And we used to get really stoned.
Swinging from the Galleria Mall.
But we'd get really stoned, and we would go into the candle store because it had these amazing scents, and let you just go up and pick up candles. And
What don't stoners like to smell?
dude? And we would be smoking like a bong in the parking lot of the car, or like over in the woods right there, because there was a woods right behind the mall. Giant like oak, dry, sort of where the valley meets the foothills of the Sierra Mountains, like this dry oak sort of woods with the pines.
Living in America.
Coast to coast. Eye to eye.
Smelling candles.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. But we'd go in and like you smell like Sex on the Beach. You smell like apple cinnamon.
Apple cinnamon.
You smell like lemon meringue pie.
Yeah.
You smell your
pumpkin spice.
You smell your great grandmother's pussy. I'm kidding.
Whoa.
Kidding. Anyways, you smell like winter
Ada?
Oh, you smell like midwinter dream. And we would smell so many of the candles, and we all had like our punk jacket on and mohawks. We're looking sketchy, and it's like middle-aged middle-aged old white lady be like, "You can't smell any more of the candles." I'm like, "But you said it's a candle store," and they're like, "You're smelling too many candles." This lady was like, "You're smelling." We just kept smelling candle after candle. I went down the line.
There's a couple of older women that walked in to
older ladies, yes,
to buy candles,
and then we're there.
There's just
we're
a bunch of assholes,
punk rockers that are there.
Hey James, you ever smelled this one?
Yeah,
and
it's
it's blood orange, and you're like, what is going on?
I went down one line and I smelled 20 candles in a row, and the look I got from this old woman was like, "What the fuck?"
Well,
and I was like, "Hey,
you imagine
they're
being
delicious."
a little old lady in a candle store,
a
like
big dude, a buck,
and a bunch of rockers come in, and they're like, "Wow, these are some pretty hardcore candles."
Ah!
I'd be a little pissed off too.
One of the one of the flavors was not Secrets of the Pumpkin Patch. I'm sorry. Anyways, they're good. So we came back like a month later. All the candles were wrapped in plastic, so we couldn't smell them anymore. So I secretly, when
They fixed the candle problem.
well, the bitch didn't know is I poked one with a knife real quick, and I got a sniff real quick, and then this lady's like, "Hey!" and I got out of there real quick. I was like, "Fuck you!"
Getting high off sniffs.
Yeah, I have them candles.
Getting high off sniffs.
Dude, I gotta get high off that pine forest, bro. Come on, ocean breeze. Let's go.
Now I always love the difference with men and women on what smells good.
Man, it's a lot of earthy smells.
Yeah, it's like
earthy.
cedar and wood and salts, like salt.
The
things.
soil.
Yeah,
Rocks.
and then with women, it's like juniper and like
that's
jasmine
trees.
and
Well, it's trees too. Theirs is more flower based.
Yes, yeah.
Ours is like
lavender.
Rocks. Well, theirs is flowers. Ours is more like trees,
Yeah.
rocks, soil. Shit we work with. Where theirs is like
Shaking
flowers.
everything. Trevor's like, let me make this point by shaking everything.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, men's smells are definitely more earthy. Women's smells are definitely more floral.
Which are still earthy, but it's more minor.
It's sweet.
It's sweeter.
There's a reason why women smell sweet and men smell like
Because
salt.
they shove all those flowers up their vagina. That's why.
No,
No?
Trevor. It's because men stink and women smell good.
'Cause-
That's the reason why we're attracted to women.
Are you saying that men we have to do
You ever-
smellier
you
or
ever
harder
just-
jobs?
You ever
Is that what you're
just have
saying?
a really rough day, and then a girl that smells amazing walks by,
The secretary at work?
like
yeah.
just smells
Oh, yeah.
like
Hot
I don't
girl
even know how
smell.
to describe
No,
it. Hot smell.
She did that today. She walked by and I was like all sandy and gray, walked
Yep.
by and I smelled and like,
I had a funny moment the other day. I was paying the electric bill, and as I picked up, because Trevor gives me half in like cash, and then I pay it on the card. When I was picking up Trevor's money, all I hear is like sandy, gritty, and I'm like, "What is it?" And I was like,
that's my job.
Trevor's money.
Trevor
Trevor's
money.
money is all
So,
sandy.
folks, I work in a metal
He
shop, and I
sandblasts all day.
sandblast, and I grind, and I do other random metal things. I hit a lot of shit on anvils with hammers. Did a lot of that the last few days. A lot of peening, which is where you take pretty much your ball, and then you hit it with a ball and peen hammer. So I do a lot of hitting holes with hammers, too.
There's a girl somewhere out there, and she's like, "That's what they call your dick."
Well, all those ladies come figure it out. I'm pretty good at swinging my tool. I'm pretty good at it. Hey, what's
swinging
good?
from the gallows poles?
Shout out Led Zeppelin.
Shout out Zeppelin.
So yeah, any last announcements?
To finish up the story, Trevor went back to the candle store. He went to go smell candles. They told him to fuck off.
The burn
and then
down. Oh, I forgot. I love how Chris knows me well enough. He remembered to finish my story.
because I was like, Trevor's gonna want to finish this.
Yes. So what happened later, folks, is like last time we went, like a few weeks later, this guy, this young man, came in. He
Didn't get to smell the candles.
So this young black man that apparently had serious serious like mental disabilities and just had a lot of issues. He went into the GameStop, which is right across the hallway
From the Yankee Candle store.
There's literally an escalator, so it was probably like 40 feet apart. There's like an escalator and two narrow walkways between the candle store and this GameStop. Went to the GameStop, wasn't allowed to like get this game. He was trying to like steal a game.
He's trying to get Halo 3.
So he literally like burned maybe 2008, 9,
Something. Yeah,
2009 around then.
Could have been.
So he literally like started a fire there, left. The fire all the emergency crews didn't want to go in, so they shut the place down. And this
let the mall
mall's a
burn
huge
down.
literally, and this mall is literally definitely bigger than the hospital right here. But
Yeah.
it's multiple city blocks. It's huge. It's the
a
biggest
big
mall
mall.
for miles around.
It's a big mall.
in like the northern Sacramento, one of the biggest malls. This huge section of it burnt the fuck down, and my buddies and I went up to the woods that I was talking about. Went up to the woods where it's some hills, got stoned in some oak trees, and just watched this mall fucking burn down, and saw all these fire trucks and police cars just sitting around not doing anything, and we're like,
Whiskey bottle, brand new car. That mall just burned down.
Hell yeah.
All right, Trevor,
Burn,
let's
burn,
play
motherfucker.
us out. We're going to go ahead and upload some more episodes here in the next couple days, folks.
So we have 45. Get your Ricky uploaded.
Yep.
The new artwork from Dylan Yarman.
We do have the new artwork up, and we're going to work on really figuring out how the fuck to get our artwork to stay so that we don't have some weird black screen. We have been plagued by the black screen since we started.
It's been terrible.
And we just don't know enough to figure it out.
We're good at like building and fixing shit, but like computers like,
We can fuck your wife. We can build you a house, but we can't fucking download a program on your computer. I'm sorry. But we are going to figure this out, folks. All for you and all for us, all for one.
Whoop whoop.
Trevor, show them what's good. And then the droids came. Nobody knew where they were or where they came from, but we knew that they wanted to rock. This is Stonehenge.
Crank it to 11.
All right, folks, we'll see you next time. Chris, Trevor, out.
Whoop whoop.